Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of a new Trekkie. My 5-year mission to search out Star Trek media, to seek out our fans and merchandise, to boldly go where no fan has gone before.
I'm freaking excited because we're talking about 2 episodes from Next Generation. In this case, looking at The Wounded and Devil's Due. Let's look at The Wounded first. So, what happened in this episode? Well, in this episode, Picard is shocked when a highly respected starship captain apparently turns renegade and begins destroying Kardashian vessels. Captain Maxwell claims that the Kardashians, who recently signed a treaty with the Federation, are secretly trying to go for war, but he has no proof. Picard demands that Maxwell, Transporter Chief O'Brien's former commander officer, surrender his ship, but he just refuses, and O'Brien basically had to convince his old boss and say, hey, please don't do this. Honestly, I felt like I just said the entire, instead of like a brief synopsis, I feel like I just said exactly what happened in this episode. Honestly, I gotta say this episode was pretty good in the fact that we got, basically, it was an entire episode geared toward O'Brien. And honestly, that's a pretty cool idea. And the fact that, we don't really get many stories about him and TNG.
When 2 Cardassian soldiers burst in, I stunned one of them. The other one jumped me. We struggled. One of the women threw me a phaser, and I fired.
Sort of like how, in OG Trek, how there wasn't many episodes geared towards Scotty. Basically, say, apparently this episode, this one's very popular on St. Patrick's Day because of its Irish content, the characters and all that. And I gotta say, the Kardashians, the visual look for them is honestly pretty cool. But honestly, I gotta say, since this is the first episode, the way they, their costumes and all that, it makes them look like giant action figures. That's just how I feel about it, honestly.
Agrees to warp 9.
But other than that, I think the dramatic aspect of it, because there's two different perspectives of it, and the fact that, O'Brien had, the perspective, hey, when they were at war with each other, he thought, the Kardashians were the bad dudes, but as soon as, he had never used, a phaser, but as soon as he did that, he thought, oh no, because he realized, I don't want to have these feelings of hurting anyone anymore, and all that, and also, I think the aspects of, Maxwell, the fact that, he is so full of, basically because of, not regret, what's the word, his character is so full of, his character unfortunately cannot let go of the past and cannot really think, hey, maybe that, what was in the past is in the past and all that. I gotta say, Bob Gutton, he does a good job in this episode, honestly. And honestly, I gotta say it's a good episode overall. Honestly, I didn't really know about the song The Mystery Boy. I never heard of it. So, but honestly, I'd say this episode is not bad. Let's look at the one episode that I'm kind of very excited to talk about, which is The Devil's Due, or Devil's Due. What happened in this episode? Well, in this episode, the crew confront an individual claiming to be Arda, a mythological entity from the planet Ventrix 2. And basically she said, hey, everyone below on this planet, I have a contract that says, after so many thousands of years, I take claim to it. And which means anything in the airspace belongs to me too. So basically she says, hey, that Enterprise, that's mine. And she also wants to take claim of Picard. Because there's a lot of moments where the character, basically, she is just she's going after Picard.
Guard the bridge. Intruder alert. Guard the bridge.
Oh, I've arranged for a bit of privacy.
There's a moment where basically she just tries to straight up seduce him. Honestly, say this episode feels like an episode that would have happened in the original run of Trek, because there's a moment where basically she goes she starts turning into a different character, wherever she starts changing into the Klingon mythological figure or something like that.
The Klingons call me Feklar.
You are not Feklar.
But I am the guardian of Great Thor, where the dishonored go when they die.
And she also changed into the devil at one point. Honestly, this episode is just so many goofiness overall. Heck, even Data, he becomes the judge of a trial to say, hey, who is actually lays claim to this planet? And yeah, this episode is pretty entertaining, honestly. Is it goofy, over the top nonsense? Yes. But it's entertaining, I feel like. I mean, overall, I had a blast watching it. Although, I'm gonna be honest with you, I had watched it, but honestly, at the time, I was just kind of tired. But then I was wait, what happened? And then I had to go back and thought, oh my gosh. Especially in the first moment when Arda is first revealed, I'm that's our villain? But I mean, overall, I gotta say this episode was pretty entertaining.
My, you are forceful, aren't you? Good. I like my men to be forceful. At least at the start.
And both of these episodes are honestly pretty good. I'll see you later.